So in the case of utility-based crypto projects, those real foundational pillars of blockchain, the question that's being asked constantly is this one: when and how do these projects ever get integrated into the systems that matter most? And by systems, I mean the global financial infrastructure, the kind of legacy hardware that makes everything from cross-border payments to real-time settlements and everything in between work. Now, I know that sounds like a long journey, and believe me, it is. But let me tell you, this journey is already underway. We're beginning to notice actual signs of change. The barriers that once stood in the way of these future perspective projects such as XRP, XLM, HBAR, and ALGO are being knocked down more and more. And what was one of the largest things standing in the way? Regulatory clarity. That chronic skepticism has held back a tremendous amount of innovation. But here's the catch: that fog is starting to clear. In this video, we're diving deep into what's really happening behind the scenes, what's changing in the US and globally, and how this evolving regulatory landscape is unlocking a massive potential for these high utility tokens. We're talking government legislation, executive orders, major policy shifts, and how these lead directly to large-scale adoption in the US financial ecosystem. So sit back, relax, and welcome to the channel. I'm Wynand. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and smash that like button, because when you see what's going on, and you'll know this ain't no talk, it's where real change is happening, and you don't want to be the one who finds out late. So let's step back for a moment to the end of December. Something very interesting happened on CoinMarketCap. A new category was added: Made in America tokens, listed by the market capitalization. At the very top of that list, XRP. Now that might not look like a lot at first, but context is key. That was symbolic. Why, you may ask? Because it symbolized a change in how utility-oriented US-based crypto projects are being perceived. Not just by us, the retail crowd, but by regulators, developers, and institutions too. Around that time, the adoption narrative was also heating up. Everyone was talking about the 4-year market cycle coming to an end and how we're officially in the age of utility, the time when projects with real-world use cases start dominating the world. But come on here. Not quite yet. Not really. But why? Because there's still a very crucial missing piece: regulations. I've always said that we're probably looking at the late 2025 to 2026 for that regulatory wave to truly break. And that's not just me spitballing dates here. That timeline lines up with what we've heard from the heavyweights like the Financial Stability Board, the FSB, the Bank for International Settlements, the BIS, and the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. Now here's the real twist. When regulations do arrive, they're going to come like a storm at first. And yes, early regulation will definitely be bearish. Why? Because markets hate uncertainty and change, even when it's ultimately good. Within the time frame of 12 to 24 months, the market bounces back, becomes more robust, and enters the adoption and utility phase. And that's when we start to see these projects being used at scale. That's where the magic happens. That's the only up phase, a time of slow but steady increase that eventually builds up exponentially as adoption scales. But again, let's step back. How to even get to that place? It all begins with the one word that's been sounding out in Washington, Silicon Valley, and Wall Street: modernization. We've already seen prominent figures step up the plate. Earlier this year, Elon Musk made headlines by calling on the US to explore blockchain technology, not just as a shiny new toy, but as a legitimate way to modernize operations, improve transparency, and combat fraud in government systems. Fraud is one of the biggest challenges in any government, especially when you're dealing with billions, if not trillions of dollars. And the best solution to that? A transparent, traceable, immutable ledger, aka blockchain technology. Elon emphasized lowering costs and enhancing efficiency, but one of the most forward-thinking ideas he presented was using blockchain to monitor federal spending. Envision having an open real-time dashboard that tracks where your tax dollars are being spent, what it is used for, how it is spent, and if that money is actually doing anything. It's a radical idea, but it's not science fiction. That's what blockchain was designed for. And that's where initiatives like XRP, XLM, HBAR, and ALGO stand out, because they've been focused on payment effectiveness, velocity, cost efficiency, and openness since day one. Flash forward to March and we've got a giant breakthrough: an executive order titled Modernizing Payments to and from America's Bank Account. Just that title alone should have given everyone in the crypto space notice. This was not bureaucratic hogwash. This was a breakthrough, you guys. The directive acknowledged fraud and theft in times of crisis, such as the COVID-19 pandemic, and set new objectives in clear terms, among them real-time payment systems and other modern electronic payment systems based on digital wallets. Think about it. Which technologies power digital wallets and real-time payments? Exactly, DLT, distributed ledger technology. That is to say, blockchain tech. They also talked a lot about stablecoins, which are essential along the way. Stablecoin innovation is already being driven by the likes of Senator Scott B, who have pressured the adoption of stablecoins as a way to preserving the US dollar's dominance and keeping America competitive globally. So yeah, this was confirmation. They're laying the groundwork to integrate digital assets, wallets, and stablecoins into the very fabric of the US financial system, and it spells massive opportunity for the projects we've been watching all along. On April 30th, Hedera made a major announcement tied to a monumental event. The Senate Commerce Committee convened to discuss the Deploying American Blockchains Act of 2025. Let that sink in. This bill is a foundation piece of legislation aimed at furthering the leadership of the US in the deployment and competitiveness of blockchain. This is no longer theory, this is implementation. Hedera has been at the forefront of it all. Just look at their public policy webpage. Dozens of organizations, initiatives, and government committees they're involved with. They've been at the table since at least 2021, when they appeared in the Project New Dawn PDF, sitting alongside the Federal Reserve and Microsoft, discussing plans for a digital dollar. And last February, Hedera's chief policy officer testified at the House Financial Services Committee hearing on the future of digital assets. Quote of the day: "It's encouraging to see bipartisan support for shaping the future of digital assets." That's huge. No longer is this partisan, this is an American issue of innovation. Now take a look right into the Deploying American Blockchains Act. The language says straightforwardly, the Secretary of Commerce shall ensure the promotion of the application, use, deployment, and competitiveness of blockchain within the United States. That in itself, that is utility within the heart of the US policy. And yeah, this directly correlates to stablecoin initiatives, digital wallets, and payment innovation. In fact, the law mentions both blockchain and other forms of distributed ledger technology explicitly. And this is massive for projects like Hedera that are not only built on run-of-the-mill blockchain technology. So, tokenization? Check. Transparency? Check. Efficiency? Check. All signs point to adoption on the table, and the US is making it loud and clear. They want to lead, not to be led. Let us admit to Ripple. CEO Brad Garlinghouse dropped a bombshell remark in March when he said, "We're underestimating what it means to unlock the US market through crypto legislation." He cited previous guidance updates by the SEC and OCC, which now allow financial institutions to collaborate with crypto. 4 years of headwinds are behind us, so the US is set to become a global fintech leader again. Ripple, laser focused on restoring the financial system, is nearer than ever fulfilling its promise, the Internet of Value. XRP was the first ISO 20022 compliant project, something used by banks and financial institutions all over the world. That's not a hyperbole, that's positioning. Now, let's talk about Stellar. They've most recently released a video entitled "Smart Governments Use Smart Technology, and That's a Fact." Watch this.
Howdy, my name is Garen, and I work on protocol here at the Stellar Development Foundation. A few months ago, the US government expressed interest in starting to use blockchain and cryptocurrency technology for government operations. Now I know what you must be thinking. In a world full of meme coins and crypto scams, why would the US government be interested in blockchain? In my opinion, I think blockchain is actually the perfect tool for some of the problems facing the current administration. So let's talk about it. This is Straight Facts with Stellar. The new administration has distinguished two key problems they're interested in solving. They want to first cut down on the amount of government spend and also increase the amount of government transparency. I think these two key features are what makes blockchain such an interesting technology when it comes to government finances. First, contrary to what you might believe, blockchain is actually the most public and traceable payment platform currently in existence. Unlike a private network such as a ACH or the SWIFT banking network, every transaction is publicly viewable on-chain at all times. In this way, blockchain could substantially increase the transparency and trust that we have in the US government's financials. Next, the issue is low cost. Today, if you use a traditional financial payment system, fees could be 3 up to even 5% of the overall transaction. On blockchain, on the other hand, it is not only much faster than traditional payment rails, but much cheaper. On Stellar, for example, you could send millions of dollars in a single transaction that takes 5 seconds and costs less than a penny. You can send this to anywhere in the world, cross-border, doesn't matter. It's the most efficient payment platform in existence today. It just makes sense for the US government to be interested in this. And when it comes to Stellar, this isn't just theoretical. There are real-world use cases currently being used. For example, the UNHCR uses the Stellar Disbursement Platform, or SDP, in order to send money to displaced individuals. There are also examples of this in private industries as well. The company Bigger has to pay its employees in many different countries. Previously, this took over 8 hours of processing every month just for payroll. But with Stellar, they're able to do this in seconds. These are just 2 of many examples of how the Stellar Disbursement Platform is solving real-world issues today. Despite the flashy and sometimes maybe even scary headlines, let's not forget what blockchain technology is good for. Stellar is committed to bringing transparency, efficiency, and accountability to how governments, institutions, and businesses serve everyday people.
Stellar is putting actual humanitarian use cases into action, proving that blockchain can do more than facilitate moving money. It can transform lives. Refugee organizations are already using Stellar's technology in the field, and the effect is deafening. And yes, if you want to long or short XRP, go to Wynand Crypto, and on this video you're going to find a link to sign up to BTCC to be able to trade Bitcoin and XRP and other cryptocurrencies. And guys, with BTCC, you can get a limited time $10,000 bonus on your first deposit. This is where I'm trading. This is where I can open all of my long positions, all of my trades. I think it's a fantastic place to be trading, so make sure to use the link down in the description below if you want to sign up and start trading XRP. This administration is on the right path. The momentum is building. Even Algorand is joining the battle. In February, they offered their blockchain to the US government as a way to boost efficiency. It's now clearly a trend. And what's next on the horizon? Stablecoin clarity. After that's nailed down, after we have solid guidelines on stablecoins, you can be sure as heck bet banks, institutions, and fintech firms will flood the market with new projects, access DLT systems, and use high utility projects like never before. Bottom line, the road is being paved, the signs are unmistakable, whether it's executive orders, congressional legislation, or public-private partnerships, the US is getting ready for a blockchain-powered financial future. So watch out for the utility-based giants XRP, XLM, HBAR, and Algorand. These are the ones that are meant to connect, meant to expand, and meant to last. With that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, be sure to smash that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you never miss a post. Thank you for watching. I love you all, and I will see you very soon. Until the next time, Wynand Crypto out.